Hi everyone and welcome back to this Python tutorial. I've really been looking forward to this video because we are going to talk about some of the most important aspects in programming. In this video we will learn how to make our very own functions in Python. Print and input, for example, are examples of functions that already exists within the Python universe. But what if we want a function that does something else than what is possible with the standard library? For a lot of tasks, we could import a module. Believe me, there is a module for basically anything. But we don't want to import too many modules just to do a simple task. We will start off easy with creating the function that gives a title to a name of your choice. Let's pretend we are working in a medical school, and before the future doctors graduate, we need to write a diploma for them. For this, we need a simple way to add the title doctor or dr to a name. And for this, we will create our very first function. You start off with every function with the keyword def, and then you put the name of the function. So here it will be doctor, round brackets. This is where you put the variable. So in this case, the variable will be name, and that will be the variable for the name of the student or the future doctor. Under here, we print what we want our function to do, and we want this function to print the title doctor and then the name variable. So as you can see here, we will put in the name, be that Josh or Jane or whatever. And to call our function, we write the name of the function with the round brackets after. And in here, as you might have guessed, we are going to put in the name. So this will be Dr. Jane. We are now calling the function we just created. And as we can see here, starts off with the keyword def, the name of the function, the variable we want to use, and here we tell the function, or we tell Python, what do we want this function to do. We want it to print out doctor and name. So we are combining the two phrases, or the phrase doctor with the name. So we're giving the name the title that we want. So what happens when we run this? Dr. Jane. We call a function by typing the name we gave the function followed by the round brackets. One more time, to call a function we created, we write the function's name and round brackets after, and there we will most likely put in our variable. We can also create functions with more than one variable, and I will show you an example of that we can do here. Now we have two variables. And here you can see maybe this is an airline program, for example, and you have to write out either Mr. or Mrs. or Doctor for that matter, and a name to the boarding pass or the ticket. And here we will do exactly the same thing. We will write name, doctor, write name of the function, and also here we will now put in two variables. And what will the title be? Let's do Mrs. and then last name Austin, for example. Mrs. Austin, would you please come to gate 72? There you are. Now let's see what happens. Mrs. Austin. And just to prove my point, we can, for example, also do Mr. Edner. Mr. Edner, will you please come forward to gate 27? Your flight is ready for departure. In this example, we can see that we made a function containing two variables. By giving the variable a value, when we are calling the function will use that value within itself or within the function. It's just like any other variable that we are creating. Just in this way, Python knows that when we are calling the particular function, we want the value of them to be assigned within the following round brackets, and that's here. When we call the doctor function, Python already has a clue that we will take a variable title and a variable name, and we want to print out the title together with the name, creating in this instance Mr. Edner or Dr. Edner or Miss Austin. And Python then automatically uses them within the function to create the desired output, as we said. And the output in this example is Mr. Edner. And I'll also give you a bit more advanced examples. So let's remove this for now. And for this example, let's pretend that we are a company that is doing service for a customer. We have a supermarket, a chain of supermarkets that sent us an email and they want us to do a customer survey. We send out a number of surveys and get a lot of them back. However, we do not want answers from people under the age of 21. We will create a function that, based on the age of the person answering, chooses to keep the persons on the list or remove it if the person is under the age of 21. So let's make some age lists here. Age list 1, age list 2, and age list 3. Actually, I will just copy some numbers in there so you don't have to look at me do all that. So just create 3 age lists and put in some random numbers there that will be our ages. Let's see here. Let's do a bit longer one also, just to prove my point. We'll use this one. Perfect. And then, of course, equal signs between, so Python does not get confused. So now we have it. Age list 1 is the ages 18, 21, 34, 42, 14, 56, 63, 78, 82, 94, and 10. I will not give you all the ages in the other lists, but you can get the point here. We are creating lists of theoretical ages of people that answered to our service, and we want to create a function that removes any answer from the people that are under the age of 21. So here we need to create a function, and we will call it age. Let's just say age rest for age restriction. And we will just put in a variable here. I'll just call that variable mark, and then we can start off with a for loop. So 4 numbers in variable. If numbers are less than 21, nope. Just to take a short pause here, I will go through what I just did. As we did in the last example, we created the function here. The function starts off with the keyword def, then the function name, and then the round brackets containing the variable. And in this case, we are just calling it or naming it variable. And then we do a for loop because we need to iterate through all of these age lists here, or just one at a time basically, but we need to iterate through all the numbers within the given age list. And then we are iterating through that, and if the number or the age is below the age of 21, we want to remove that number from the list. So if numbers is less than 21, variable remove numbers. And then just to make this visible, we can do print removed, and then we can do numbers. Here it will show us exactly which number it did remove also. Then at the end here we want the done list to be printed out, so only age 21 and up. and then the variable. So now let's see if we can make this work. I will go through it a few more times also. Age rest, and we want age list 1. Let's see what will happen here. The output is, I will blow that up a bit, removed 18, removed 14, removed 10. And then the final list containing only ages 21 and up is 21, 34, 42, 56, 63, 78, 82, and 94. As you can see, this did exactly what we wanted to do. Now let's try with the other list. Age list 2. Let's see what's happening now. Removed 12, removed 15, removed 12. List containing only ages 21 and up. 41, 65, 34, 56, 43, 28, 78, 23, 65, 83, 42, and 23. It worked again. Now let's check the last and a bit longer list. Removed 12, removed 13, removed 8, and removed 10. Only age 21 and up. The final list contains no age below 21. As you can see here, we run the function on all 3 of our age lists. We just did that. And by the output, we can see that we removed all the ages under 21. Now our company that hired us can go through the rest of the service, making sure all the information we get is actually relevant for our customer. When we write a function, we are basically teaching Python that we want an action to take place. We tell Python exactly what we want to happen, and we also give variables, etc. I will go through the function we created one more time just to so it actually sticks to your head what we just did here. First off, we started with 3 different age lists, and in this example, as we have said, we sent out surveys, we got them back, but we only wanted the answers from the people that were aged 21 or over. So we wanted to create a function, because there is no standard function in Python that will remove automatically ages or numbers below 21 in a given list. So that's where we started off, and then we created our function, as you can see here. We started off with a keyword, which is def. That is always the keyword when you are creating a function, or it could also be called a method if you are programming in something we call object-oriented programming, but that is a story for a later time. So def age rest, short for ages restriction. And we also have the variable here, which will be the lists that we want to go through. And then we created within this function, we asked that Python runs a for loop within the list and checks all the numbers if they are below 21 or over. If the number is less than 21, we want to remove that variable or that number. And then we also said print removed, because we wanted to get, just to see that the function was actually doing what it was supposed to, we wanted to get the message for every number it removed. And then at the final stage, we printed out the new list containing only ages 21 and up, because that is what our customer wanted information from. When we need to use the function we have created, as I said earlier, we call it in the same way as we call the already built-in functions in Python, basically. And that you can see here. To call this function, we do this. To call one of the already built-in functions, we do this. It's basically the same thing. Since this is quite crucial for you as a new programmer, I will show you one more example. And this will be a bit of a theoretical example, but it will help you to see the point. Let's say that we are making an emergency warning system. We work in an office where let's say we're monitoring the weather. And if something happened, then time is crucial. So we have to create a fast and easy way to get information out to the public. So let's call this function tornado warning. And then we can do city or area as the variable, because here we want to fill in which city or which area that we want to send out the warnings to. And here we will just do a bit of print statements for now. And this first one we can do, for example, emergency radio broadcast sent to, and here we will do the city or area variable again. Then we can do emergency TV broadcast sent to city or area again. And then we will do the last one here, and that can be maybe sending emergency SMS to inhabitants in city or area. Of course, as I said, this is somewhat of a dummy example, as we have not coded a way to actually send the SMSs, nor do we have any way to do the actual emergency broadcast. It would be a bit of fun though, but unfortunately that will take a bit too much time. But let's pretend that instead of printing these statements, the program will actually do this, and it will send the broadcasters and the SMSs out to the public. And if we want to, okay, so now we are sitting in our office and there is a tornado heading for New York. So we need to send out emergency messages and broadcasters to the inhabitants in the New York City area. And then we will do this. Here we will put in the variable. And we will see what will happen. Load this up. Emergency radio broadcast sent to New York. Emergency TV broadcast sent to New York. Sending emergency SMSs to inhabitants in New York. We can see now how we now created a simple and super fast way to, in theory, notify people living in the affected areas. If we try to call tornado warning before we actually created the function, we will get an error message. We basically thought Python that if we call tornado warning, we want this to happen. We teached Python in a way that tornado warning, that is, maybe you could call it a call sign for that we want all of this to happen straight away, just like Python knows that when you type print followed by round brackets, if we want to print something on the screen. I hope that this helps you to understand what actually functions in Python are. Do play a bit around with it, create some functions, create 100 functions on your own if you want. However basic they are, they will definitely help you just to repeat it for a few times. That will help you to actually understand them and also understand when to use them. If you have any questions about what we have gone through in this video, or if you have any feedback, then please do leave it in the comment section down below. Do not go on to the next video without giving me a thumbs up. It makes me so sad. Make my day and give me a thumbs up. And as always, do subscribe to my channel for many more interesting videos to come.